Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Listen, we're going to get right into it. Brian Nahuel Payes, who is one of the people charged in the death of Liam Payne, actually, he's charged with the one supplying the drugs to Liam Payne, has decided to give an exclusive interview to a media outlet by the name of Telef Noticias. So we're gonna listen to it. I'm gonna do my best to translate as best as I can. You guys know that there are different dialects of Spanish, so please note that it might not all be 100%.
Brian, que quiere declarar ante la justicia.
Primera parte.
Brian Nahuel Pais, tu nombre figura en el expediente judicial en el cual se investiga la muerte de Liam Payne. Se dice que vos le suministraste drogas. ¿Sí o no? ¿Es así?
He says your name is Brian Paez, the name that is set up on the judicial file, and it's being said that you supplied him drugs. Is that true or not? Now, in Spanish, it sounds like he said it administrases, which would be administered, but here in the closed caption, it shows a supplied. So let's see how he answers this question.
¿Sí?
La realidad es que no le suministré drogas. Con Lía nos conocimos, él me contactó en lo que es mi trabajo. Ahí nos pasamos lo que es el contacto. Si nos vimos esa noche, normal, él me fue a buscar abajo porque me había perdido. Tipo, no sabía cómo llegar al hotel y me fue a buscar.
The truth is, I didn't administer drugs. What happened was that he contacted me. Hold up, let me go back a little bit.
Dice que vos le suministraste drogas. ¿Sí o no? ¿Es así?
La realidad es que no le suministré drogas. Con Lía nos conocimos, él me contactó.
With Liam, we met and he contacted me.
En lo que es mi trabajo.
With what is my job.
Ahí nos pasamos lo que es el contacto. Si nos vimos esa noche, normal.
There we exchanged contacts, and that night it was a normal night.
Él me fue a buscar abajo porque me había perdido.
He went to go look for me downstairs because I had gotten lost.
Tipo, no sabía cómo llegar al hotel y me fue a buscar.
And I didn't know how to get to the hotel, so he went to go look for me.
En Casa Sur.
No, en el Hydra que está en Palermo.
And the reporter asked him at Casa Sur, which is the initial hotel, right, where Liam died. And he says, no, it was in Palermo High, which is a different hotel. I'm showing you guys the map here. By the way, shout out to Julia. Julia is the one that's been messaging me kind of the details of the different things because she's been watching a lot of the international coverage. Thank you, Julia, again, for helping me. Shout out to you, girl. Shout out to you. All right. Let's keep going. So she shows us this map. This is where they were at before, where Liam Payne was staying at before.
En el primero.
En el que estuvo anteriormente.
Sí, ahí nos juntamos, él me mostró un poco de su música, de la música que iba a sacar adelante.
So Brian is saying that they had met at Palermo High or Palermo High, and that in that meeting, Liam had shown him some music that he was going to be working on and music that he was going to be releasing in the future.
Dicen que él estaba bajo, creo que no se estaba drogando, o no sé, o es lo que se estaba diciendo, pero la realidad es que no. Él cuando llegó al local donde yo trabajo, él ya estaba drogado, de hecho no comió. No.
He says, people were saying that he wasn't drugged, but the reality is that when he got to the place where I worked, he was already drugged. Now, let's talk about the drugs real quick. A couple weeks ago, they had said that he had pink cocaine, that somebody, ABC News talked about it, TMZ talked about it. You guys, it was not pink cocaine. It was very specific to the drugs that were said on the police report, on the police statement, nothing about pink cocaine, and he was taking an antidepressant. I believe it was antidepressant, cocaine, and another drug, but nothing that would have said, oh, it's pink cocaine. So I'm not really sure because everybody quoted that. And I remember reading it and telling you guys, this is not coming straight from the authorities. It's coming from somebody else. I said it in a video, but let's go ahead and play this.
En esos momentos él se me acerca, me pide mi contacto, yo le paso en Instagram y ahí él me envía mensajes porque, o sea, quería drogarse, él ya estaba drogado, creo que iba a un concierto o algo así, no.
So he says that they met and he passes him his contact information. He gives us his Instagram. Brian is saying he had already been drugged. He was already using drugs. And so that's how they got connected through the Instagram. He says, I think he was already high, like at a concert or something like that.
No
¿Esto
sé.
cuándo fue? ¿Qué noche?
El 2 de octubre.
2 de octubre.
So October 2nd was around the time that they had basically met.
Y ahí fue la última vez que hablamos. Yo me subí al hotel, charlamos, me mostró la música, como te dije anteriormente. Nos tomamos unos shots de whisky.
And he says, you know, he showed me his music, just like I told you before.
Nos tomamos unos shots de whisky.
He says, we took a couple shots of whiskey. They met, the first time they ever met was October 2nd. That was the first time they exchanged contacts with each other. Liam Payne had like a fake Instagram account that he was using to contact Brian, right? So that's how they established between Instagram and Messenger.
La primera, es la primera.
So this picture was taken the very first time they both met. And they would have been in that first hotel, Palermo High. Or is it High or Jai? Well, because there's like a, let me see. Hold up, y'all. Let's look at this screenshot. The J sounds like an H. I believe it's Palermo High. Or Jai. Okay. I'm trying my best to pronounce it. So this is where they took that first picture. Now, who set up the hotel for him to be there? Was it his manager, Mr. Rogelio Nores, who, by the way, gave an exclusive to La Nación?
Primera vez. Cuando se ven en la suite del músico, en el living de la habitación, se quedan charlando, hablan de música, empiezan a establecer una relación, muy buena onda, él queda muy contento, dice Brian, y bueno, después de tiempo, queda un rato, 1 hora y media aproximadamente en ese hotel, en esa habitación, y luego él se va. Se va y bueno, no esperaba tampoco que siguiera ese contacto, ese vínculo, porque...
So he meets him at the very first hotel, the very first time, and, you know, they exchange contacts information. And then he basically says, you know, he leaves. Like, he didn't think that they were going to keep talking to each other or anything like that, right?
Le siguió escribiendo para tener un segundo contacto, para que se vieran una nueva oportunidad.
So Liam and him continued to keep in contact, although Brian never knew that they were going to keep up in contact. He just thought it was like a one deal situation. And he says he's got a fake account. This Liam Payne has a fake account, and this is how he kept in contact with them, which a lot of celebrities do have fake accounts. Some of those accounts are not ran by the actual celebrity. It's usually the publicist, and then they have like a fake stock account. So you really never know.
El vínculo hasta que se establece el segundo contacto. La segunda vez que se ven, en este caso, dice Brian, la noche del 13 para el 14 de octubre.
Lo escuchamos.
Llegas al hotel.
So they seen each other the night of the 13th to the 14th of October. Okay.
Segunda vez. ¿Qué día es?
Domingo 13 para el lunes 14.
Great. So they see each other Sunday the 13th to Monday the 14th.
Ahí pasamos la noche, tipo, nos drogamos porque la realidad pasó algo íntimo.
Llegaste ahí toda la noche.
Sí, hasta la...
He says, oh, I don't know if I should be saying this here. Okay, I'm going to say it. He says that he stayed there the night. They drugged each other. There was something intimate that happened between them. Okay.
Cuando decís nos drogamos, ¿qué droga?
Yo fumé marihuana y él estaba con la cocaína, que viste que están todas esas fotos.
He says he was smoking marijuana and he was doing cocaine.
Y no sé, la separaba, no sé qué hacía, lo limpiaba y eso era cada vez menos.
He would say he was separated, he would clean it, and then it was less and less, and then he would smoke it.
La fumaba.
¿Vos le decías algo cuando veías eso?
No, porque no lo vi mal, lo vi normal, bien. En un momento fue agresivo, me trató bien, o sea, fue reducido.
He says, I wasn't saying anything wrong. I mean, because everything was fine. At one, he treated me well. Speaking of translations, he said, at no point was he aggressive. He was treating me well. I went back. I was like, let me listen to this again and let me make sure that people know what I meant.
Dulce, me preguntaba si yo estaba bien, si me encontraba bien.
Vos
You would ask him, are you okay? Are you doing okay?
tenés todo documentado en el teléfono, en las comunicaciones con él. Y ahí se establece el diálogo entre él y vos y se organiza, digamos, este encuentro.
Sí, no borré nada, inclusive dejé todo ahí, todo como está, tipo, me perjudica o no, no sé, no me interesa. Yo sé que él no se tiró, no se hubiera tirado, la baranda es alta.
¿Qué pensás que pasó?
He says he didn't throw himself. I left everything there and he left. He's like, I don't think he would have thrown himself.
No sé, que lo dejaron solo, porque cuando él me envía una foto de una ubicación, me envía una ubicación que no era ahí el hotel, que era otra ubicación, que no sé, ni que yo la busqué igual. Por lo que se ve en lo que es la foto, no tiene, como que le sacaron el chip. Él estaba asustado cuando yo me voy, se quedó sentado en el inodoro mirando al frente, asustado. Él le agarra y, ¿viste donde pones la tarjeta de para pasar o salir? Él puso un montón de papeles como para que quede bien, un montón.
Como que tenía miedo.
Tenía miedo.
He said he was scared. Liam said that when he let, okay, I'm sorry. Brian said that Brian, he's saying that he was scared. Brian is saying is that, they had done the drugs and everything, and he was at one point very scared. He said that he had this look on his face. He was so scared that Liam was shoving paper in the little key slot, because he was scared. What was he afraid of? I mean, if I don't know, maybe he was under the influence. He was so paranoid, but this is what he's saying.
Tenía miedo.
¿De qué?
No sé, porque yo estaba, no entendía tanto.
He's like, I don't know what he was scared because I was also drugged. But he was using marijuana and it said Liam was using cocaine, you guys.
Pero a la vez entendía algo raro estaba pasando.
A ver, Brian reconoce que consumieron juntos drogas, habla hasta de un encuentro íntimo, habla del miedo, duda de que haya decidido él tirarse o que sea un accidente la caída de Liam Payne.
He says, he's just kind of giving a little synopsis of what was said. He's saying he doubts that he just threw himself over, which we know that that's not the case. He said he was scared. They were using drugs.
Lo que niega rotundamente es que él le haya llevado la droga, Guille.
Brian is denying that he took the drug. Well, then how the hell did he get the drug?
Sí, hay, Rodi, te diría 3 certezas, 3 afirmaciones muy concretas que hace Brian y está muy seguro de eso. La primera de todas es que él no es dealer, él no le llevó droga a nadie.
He said Brian denies that he's a dealer. He didn't take drugs to anybody. Well, did he go to the room and then get the drugs? Because that's what it was said earlier, that they met at the hotel and that's how they connected.
Dice que él fumó marihuana con él, pero que él no le llevó absolutamente nada al ex músico de One Direction.
So he's saying he smoked marijuana with him, but he didn't take any marijuana with him, to him. He didn't take marijuana to him.
Segundo, él dice que alguien lo mató o que tenía miedo, que estaba muy perturbado.
He is saying that Brian told him that somebody killed him, that he was very paranoid. Oh my God.
Pero que estaba atemorizado, cuenta ese detalle del papel que pone en la endija de la tarjeta de la habitación, que le llamó mucho la atención, también relata sobre eso, y también dice que él nunca recibió dinero. Hay 3 cuestiones, estas 3. No recibió dinero, no le llevó drogas y tenía miedo y dice, sostiene que lo mataron.
He is saying that Brian told him that he never received money, that he didn't take drugs to him, and that he believes that Liam was killed.
Vamos a escuchar la tercera y última parte. Reiteramos, es Brian, uno de los imputados, de los 3 imputados que tiene la muerte, la investigación de la muerte de Liam Payne.
Vos no en ningún momento le entregaste o le suministraste estupefacientes.
Nos grabamos juntos. Entonces, la realidad, yo no le llevé, no le acepté plata, además hay mensajes donde quiso darme.
He's saying you never administered. He's like, no, we were together. We were together. He said, I didn't accept money. There was recordings. There's a message where
Él parecía que siempre quería pagar, estaba acostumbrado
where he wanted to give him money, but it seemed like that wasn't the case.
A eso. No lo sé. Él todo el tiempo quería pagar, yo nunca le acepté.
He's like, he's always used to paying, and I never accepted anything. He's like, he didn't. There was nothing.
De nada. Y cuando me fui, no sé, él me dio quería darme una ropa como para que me lleve, como para que sepan que estuve con él. Y yo no la acepté, la dejé atrás de la tele, que
He's like when he was leaving, he said he wanted to give him some clothes so that almost like people knew that he was with Liam, but he didn't accept the clothes. He left it behind the television.
fue un jogging gris con una remera que tiene una estampa, creo que no recuerdo el color. No sé por qué no lo tomé. No quería tomar nada en realidad, no quería usar nada, no quería llevarme nada, no sé por qué.
Cuando te fuiste del hotel en Casa Sur, la segunda oportunidad, ¿qué supiste de él? O sea, hasta que pasó lo que pasó, hasta que murió.
Yo le dije que una amiga lo quería conocer, que es una mejor amiga que también es muy fan de One Direction.
So, what was the question? Lord have mercy. Hold up, y'all.
Que no lo tomé. No quería tomar nada en realidad, no quería usar nada, no quería llevarme nada, no sé por qué.
Cuando te fuiste del hotel en Casa Sur, la segunda oportunidad, ¿qué supiste de él? O sea, hasta que pasó lo que pasó, hasta que murió.
Yo le dije
So he asked him, like, when you left Casa Sud, what did you find out about him until what happened had happened? Like, what was the last thing you basically found out?
que una amiga lo quería conocer, que es una mejor amiga que también es muy fan de One Direction.
He says, I have a friend who is a fan of One Direction and wanted to meet him.
Él, creo que me dijo que sí, inclusive cuando yo me fui, él apareció afuera donde yo vivía, ingresó hasta la mitad del domicilio y hasta la mitad de la escalera. Yo no sé cómo él había entrado, pero quería que volvamos al hotel. Yo le dije que no podía, que tenía que trabajar, quedan creo que unos par de minutos como para que yo entre. Nada, en realidad no quería usar nada, no quería llevarme nada, no sé por qué.
Cuando te fuiste del hotel en Casa Sur, la segunda oportunidad, ¿qué supiste de él? O sea, hasta que pasó lo que pasó, hasta que murió.
Yo le dije que una amiga lo quería conocer, que es una mejor amiga que también es muy fan de One Direction. Él, creo que me dijo que sí, inclusive cuando yo me fui, él apareció afuera donde yo vivía.
He said Liam appeared right outside of where I lived.
Ingresó hasta la mitad del domicilio y
And he came in halfway through the property
hasta la mitad de la escalera. Yo no sé cómo él había entrado, pero quería
through the stairs. I don't know how he got in there.
que volvamos al hotel. Yo le dije que no podía, que
He wanted to go back to the hotel with him, and he's like, I really can't.
tenía que trabajar. Quedan creo que unos par de minutos como para
I really had to work, and I really couldn't.
que yo entre de vuelta, que yo ingresé al trabajo, que era a las 11:30, yo ingresaba y tenía que salir antes.
Yeah, work was at 11:30, and I went in, and I had to leave before.
Digo que no puedo, me dice que bueno, que mucho gusto. Y ahí fue la última vez que lo vi.
And that was the last time I saw him. Says that, well, that's okay. Nice to meet you. And that was the last time I saw him.
Se subió al taxi y
A las otras dos personas que se mencionaron,
And so he went in his taxi. And then the reporters asked him about the two other people.
en la causa, ¿las conoces? ¿Sabes algo?
no conozco a ninguna de esas personas, no sé ni quiénes son.
Y cuando
He's like, I don't know these other two people that they're talking about. I don't even know who they are.
viste la foto de lo que pasa en el hotel, que está la droga, que hay alcohol, que bueno, que hay una situación de excesos, ¿reconociste haber estado ahí?
Sí, pero no me cuadró nada.
Pero esa foto significaba para vos que yo estuve ahí, eso lo vi.
Sí, vi las drogas, además no sé eso, ¿no? Porque no estaba así, no había. La caja de jabón ya estaba desde antes, del día 1 que yo ingresé ahí, yo la vi a la caja esa, yo no entendía para qué servía, ni para qué servía la vela, ni el vasito con agua, que él no se tiró.
He says that the soapbox was already there. He had seen it, but he doesn't understand. He says the drugs, I don't know, because it wasn't like that. So the picture where we all saw with all the drugs. So what the fuck? Was it staged?
No había. La caja de jabón ya estaba desde antes, del día 1 que yo ingresé ahí, yo la vi a la caja esa.
He said he had seen the soapbox, that Dove soapbox.
Yo no entendía para qué servía, ni para qué servía la vela, ni el vasito con agua.
Like he didn't understand what the candle or the water.
No se tiró. Estaba bien, pasó la noche, es imposible, no sé.
He's like, he didn't throw himself. We spend the night. It's impossible. He didn't throw himself. That's what he's saying.
Es una persona que no tomaría antidepresivo, alguien se lo puso, no sé.
He said that's a person who wouldn't take an antidepressant. Some would put it on. I don't know. I mean, but he only spent a couple nights with him. How would he know this? So this guy is saying he didn't administer, he didn't supply, but yet he did drugs with him. So he met him at his work, at the first hotel, and then at his second time, right?
Guille, para ponernos en escenario, ¿cuánto él habla de, Brian habla de solo 2 veces que lo vio a Liam Payne?
Sí.
¿Y cuántos días antes del desenlace?
Claro, él dice del 13 al 14 se ven.
Huh.
Liam Payne muere el 16. Es más, él cuenta
Del 13 a 14. So they see each other from the 13th to the 14th. Liam Payne dies on the 16th.
que cuando se va del hotel de Casa Sur, cuando deja la habitación después de pasar la noche con él, ese día recibe un mensaje del músico y él no lo contesta porque estaba trabajando. Lo deja pasar, se pone contento y demás, pero
Okay, wait a minute. So he got a call before Liam died? Hold up.
mensaje del músico, Liam Payne muere el 16. Es más, él cuenta que cuando se va del hotel de Casa Sur, cuando deja la habitación después de pasar la noche con él, ese día recibe un mensaje del músico.
So the day that Brian leaves Casa Sur, he receives a message from Liam.
Y él no lo contesta porque estaba trabajando. Lo deja
He doesn't answer it because he's working.
pasar, se pone contento y demás, pero digo, no lo responde. Y es la segunda vez que se ve. La primera, recordemos, el 2 de octubre, porque es la misma noche en la cual él lo conoce en el restaurante donde trabaja. Recordemos, vamos al principio, van las 4 personas a comer.
Okay, here we go. So he meets him at the hotel, what looks to be like a hotel restaurant on October 2nd. There are 4 people that he meets, right? Liam Payne is in there.
Entre ellas él, Liam Payne, con su novia y 2 personas más.
And this is when Kate Cassidy was there and 2 other people. So it was Liam, Kate Cassidy, and 2 other people that were in this group.
Y ahí es donde empieza el contacto, porque le pide el Instagram, empiezan a hablar.
So this is when they exchange contacts, the Instagram, the Messenger.
Y él entonces organiza, o por lo menos quedan en contacto para verse el 2 de octubre.
So this is when they stay in contact and at least plan to meet each other on the 2nd of October.
2 de octubre y 13-14, ¿entendemos? Dos
Sí.
noches nada.
They met on the 2nd, the 13th, and the 14th.
Días antes en los que él describe, él describe la vela y la caja de jabón que están en la foto final.
Exacto,
Están en la foto final.
sí.
So he describes the soapbox and the candle, which are captured on the picture that a lot of us have seen.
Él ve eso, ve la caja del jabón, ve la vela y eso lo visualiza él. Pero le llama la atención lo que pasa después. Cuando ve la foto se sorprende porque él dice, no era tan así. O sea, él estuvo todo... Es más, ante la pregunta de si había más gente con ellos dos, cuenta Brian que no, que siempre estuvieron solos.
So he asked him, he's like, well, Brian was surprised by the picture because it wasn't like destructive that way. So then when Brian is asked, well, were there more people around you guys? He's like, no, we were alone.
Que de hecho se manejaba él bastante por su trabajo, se maneja medianamente bien con el inglés, y Liam Payne hablaba bastante español, entonces, digo,
So Liam Payne speaks pretty well Spanish, and this is why they kind of got along, because he could understand the language.
se relacionaban y hablaban de esa manera, pero que nunca hubo más personas, ¿eh?
He says there was never any more people when they were together.
O sea, siempre estuvieron solos las veces que se vieron.
Bien, la otra cuestión, Guille, habla de, a ver, ¿cómo expresarlo? Un estado de paranoia.
Okay, so he's asking him, he talks about the state of paranoia, which is what we heard too. And I'm going to have to go back because, I mean, I just heard some other things that I wasn't really sure. And like I said, I'm going to do minimal editing, so y'all might not want to watch all this, but this is just me thinking out loud of what could have happened here.
Ahora, duda de los antidepresivos. Duda de los antidepresivos no es un tema menor.
So he's basically saying Brian doubts the antidepressants.
Sí, habla de eso. Él dice que no, que bueno, que no le llama la atención, que lo de los antidepresivos no, que él vio situaciones, pero no vio esa situación en particular,
Ah,
y que entonces por eso, al verlo tan mal, lo ve atemorizado, esta anécdota o esta situación, esta vivencia realmente llamativa del papel en la puerta de la habitación, como que estaba muy...
yeah, he's like, I never saw him with the antidepressants type of situation. He's like, but the thing is that really astounded him is that paranoid state that he was in at one point where he's shoving paper on that key card that, you know, the one where you slide the key card to.
Paranoico de que
Claro.
alguien pudiera entrar. Bueno, esta situación él la relata de algún modo, trata de compartirla porque está muy, muy choqueado todavía por su propia situación, porque él dice, yo no soy dealer, a mí no me pagó nadie y yo no tengo nada que ver con esto.
Claro,
Because he's like, you know, he's surprised by the situation because I'm not a dealer, nobody paid me. Now, here's my question that doesn't quite make sense. And maybe you guys can let me know in the chat. But I thought, if I remember correctly, if Brian was with Liam between the 13th and 2nd, then the 13th and 14th, right? Well, where the hell was Kate Cassidy? Did she leave before that? Because I thought she left a couple days before the 16th. She would have been around, wouldn't she? It wouldn't just been of them alone, unless she had already left.
Mariano García nos contaba hace unos días que las imputaciones surgen del análisis tecnológico y digital, entre otras cosas de los celulares,
Sí.
las redes sociales, las ubicaciones. Él da fe de eso, pero relata un
Sí.
Instagram aparte del oficial, ¿no? Que se comunicaba Liam Payne con él desde otro Instagram que no era el oficial.
So in the prosecutor's statement, right, there is this whole like breakdown of the social media and what they were searching. So Brian talking about there was this other social media account that Liam Payne was using, which a lot of celebrities tend to use a secondary social media account that's not connected to them, right? That's not at all surprising, but he's bringing this issue up.
Sí, eso confirmado, lo cuenta Brian, dice que recibía mensajes de una cuenta de Instagram que no es la oficial, la verídica, digamos, del músico, y que se manejaba de esa manera, le escribía por esa vía.
So he's saying, yeah, Brian said that he was receiving messages from an Instagram that is of Liam Payne's, but, you know, he was handling it, but it doesn't have his information.
También por Messenger la escribía, no por, y después por Snapchat también, digo, iba variando, pero no por medios habituales y convencionales. Siempre buscaba alguna alternativa para establecer un contacto que lo lograba, pero bueno, en el caso de la última vez, cuando él se va de la habitación, después de pasar la noche con él la segunda vez, le escribe, pero él, bueno, no alcanza a responderle porque estaba trabajando. Y de hecho, después cuenta Brian que se entera de la muerte a través de un compañero de trabajo.
Guille ya declaró, lo llamaron a...
Brian found out about Liam Payne's death through a coworker, okay?
¿Declarar?
Sí. No declaró todavía. Él dice que no declaró todavía.
Claro,
él está
lo que está
buscando
queriendo
la manera
es
de que alguien
declarar.
de la justicia... Exacto, él tiene el teléfono para decirle a la justicia, acá está mi teléfono, revisen todo, miren los videos, miren las charlas que tengo.
He said he's willing, you know, he's willing to turn in his phone to show like his side of the story of what happened.
Con él, los contactos, establecimos una relación, estuvimos juntos y se terminó la historia. Él quiere aclarar eso, él no tiene nada que ver con su ministro de
He said we established a relationship, we were together, but there was nothing else.
estupefacientes. De hecho, él está muy preocupado porque, además, insisto, cuenta que allanaron un departamento lindero donde vive. Entonces él lo llamaron y esa persona al que le alquila le dice no vuelvas acá porque la verdad que
Oh, man.
no sé si te hubiera...
So they raided one of his apartments and then they called the landlord and basically said don't come over here. So this is like affecting people clearly because, you know, you're a landlord and the place that you're renting out is being raided. It's not good, right?
Hay 3 imputados en la causa. Uno de ellos, pidiendo declarar, acaba de hablar con Guillermo Paniza. Esta es la imagen del primer día en que se conoció.
I want to go back a little bit because I don't know if Brian is lying, which I would assume so. But the reporter does ask him that you are being accused of basically administering drugs to Liam. And he doesn't admit to that in any of this reporting. If anything, he says that he never supplied him anything, he never took anything to him, and they just met up.
¿Administraste drogas? ¿Sí o no? ¿Es así?
La realidad es que no le suministré drogas. Con Ian nos conocimos, él me contactó en lo que es mi trabajo. Ahí nos pasamos lo que es el contacto. Si nos vimos esa noche, normal, él me fue a buscar abajo porque me había perdido. Tipo, no sabía cómo llegar al hotel y me fue a buscar.
Casa Sur.
No, en el Hydra que está en Palermo.
In High, he says in Palermo. In High, and initially we thought it was like the Hyatt, but now he says it's Palermo. The only other Palermo hotel is Palermo High, J-A-I or H-A-I, depending on how y'all pronounce it. Let me know in the chat if you guys pronounce it different. I'm literally just throwing it out there.
En el primero.
En el que estuvo anteriormente.
Sí, ahí nos juntamos, él me mostró un poco de su música, de la música que iba a sacar adelante. Dicen que él estaba bajo, creo que no se estaba drogando, o no sé, o es lo que se estaba diciendo, pero la realidad es que no. Él cuando llegó al local donde yo trabajo, ella estaba drogado. De hecho,
he says, Liam was using drugs when he arrived at my job. So, and I believe, again, this is October 2nd when they first met. But if it's October 2nd, they're around 4 individuals, right? Or 3 other individuals at this time. They're around Kate Cassidy, they're around another person, and they're around the manager, Rogelio Nores. At least that's what it sounds like.
no comió, no. En uno de esos momentos él se me acerca, me pide mi contacto, yo le paso en Instagram y ahí él me envía mensajes.
So he said that Liam sought him out and through his Instagram, and that's how they exchanged messages.
Porque, o sea, quería drogarse, él ya estaba drogado, creo que se iba a un concierto o algo así, no sé.
¿Esto cuándo fue? ¿Qué noche?
El 2 de octubre.
2 de octubre.
Sí. Y ahí fue la última vez que hablamos. Yo me subí al hotel, charlamos, me mostró la música, como te dije anteriormente. Nos tomamos unos shots de whisky.
So when that was around the time they first met, they took some shots of whiskey.
Esta es una imagen.
So this is the image that they show. This was the first time that he had met Liam, and I guess that's one of the pictures that they took. All right, hold up. Now I want to go right to the interview where he gives a part 2.
Brian, la noche del 13 para el 14 de octubre.
Lo escuchamos.
Llegas al hotel, la segunda vez. ¿Qué día es?
Domingo 13 para el lunes 14.
So the second time he goes to the hotel is October the 13th. That's when he's there.
Ahí pasamos la noche, tipo, nos drogamos porque la realidad.
He says, that we spend the night there. We got high, we got drugged.
Pasó algo íntimo.
He says right here, pasó algo íntimo. Now when you hear somebody say in Spanish, pasó algo íntimo, typically that means that there was sex. That's what it is. I don't want to put that out there, but this is what Brian said in this interview. So y'all take that for what it's worth. This is what he's saying happened between him and Liam.
Llegaste ahí toda la noche.
Sí, hasta la.
Cuando decís nos drogamos, ¿qué drogas?
Yo fumé marihuana y él estaba con la cocaína, que viste que están todas esas fotos.
He said there was marijuana and cocaine. He was using marijuana, he was using cocaine. So Brian is not admitting to have supplied him the drugs whatsoever. Okay. He's also saying that he was paranoid. He felt like somebody was after him. Now, was that after he used the drugs? I guess we'll have to find out, right? That he was putting paper on that key card holders. Okay. The other thing to this too is that he left and Liam died a couple days after he left, like after the last contact, which would have been the 14th of October. My question is, did Kate Cassidy already leave around this time? If you guys know the timeline, put it in the chat. Now, could Brian be lying? Yeah, definitely. Very young guy, could be lying. We don't know. We don't know because he's saying he never supplied him anything. Did maybe there was something that was caught up in the cameras? Maybe there was something that in their interview and they might have I don't know, seen something. I'm not really sure, but we don't know. You guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments. I just wanted to review that. Very minimal editing will happen to this video. So if you're watching this and you're frustrated, it's because y'all, I'm congested and I don't have time. I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye, guys.